Hello, my vibrant friends. I am excited today to go live here and share with you my new friend, Emmalou. What she does is amazing. She is a family relationship coach for those people that have special needs and just to help strengthen families. So, Emmalou, it is a pleasure to meet you as we have gotten to know each other and deepen our friendship. How did you get into this?
Well, it started as I began my career as an educator. I wanted to be an elementary school teacher, and while I was taking my courses, my university courses, I was made aware of the option of adding a special ed endorsement.
Mhm.
And I thought this would help me be even more effective. And so I graduated with that endorsement. And I actually ended up spending 23 of my 24 years as a school teacher in special ed. There was one year I taught a sixth grade class. But even then, every student is unique
Mhm.
and different. And especially when they have a challenge, a learning disability,
Mhm.
autism, attention deficit,
Mhm.
it changes how they learn.
Right.
And if teachers and parents aren't aware of that, we can make we can make school a hideous experience for them.
Absolutely. And
So
and for us too,
yes,
because it's
yeah,
not cookie cutter no matter what the diagnosis even is.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And especially with autism, which is becoming, I'm looking at how much more prevalent that is now than when I began my teaching career. It seems like every year the rate increases of
Right.
children who have been diagnosed on the autism spectrum.
Yeah.
But
Um,
what I found to be just in heartwarming to me is that when a child is diagnosed with special needs, they're placed on what is called an IEP.
mhm.
That's an individual education plan. And it's in the United States, it's a federal mandate. The school is required to hold a meeting with the parents at least once a year, and it's to review what are the needs of this child,
Mhm.
um, how can we support them, what goals do we want them to accomplish in this school year. And it's all for the purpose of making sure that parents are being included in the educational process, because when it comes right down to it, no one knows and understands that child better than their parents.
Yeah.
And when you come to these meetings where the focus is on how can we help this child, and you create this synergistic team and everyone is focused on how they can support that child, miracles happen.
Yeah.
Children make progress far greater than anyone else could have expected.
Right.
But too often, adult egos get in the way, and trust is lost between school and home. And the adults come ready to butt heads.
Yeah.
The parents don't trust the school personnel. The school personnel don't trust the parents. And the meeting dissolves into the needs of the student are not addressed at all. And
Right.
it's heartbreaking. So as I ended my career, I knew my calling, my purpose for the rest of my life was to support these parents of children with special needs. It's a challenge raising a child in whatever ideal conditions,
Mhm.
but when they have a special need, statistically, it's 4 times as expensive to raise a child with special needs. They have a lot more, medical expenses,
Mhm.
everything
Mhm.
else. and it's more emotionally draining and
Mhm.
time consuming.
And it harms the
So
marriage too.
yeah, and it's hard on a marriage. It
Mhm.
can.
Yep.
I've seen
Yep.
marriages end because
Yep.
one parent says, let's just put them in an institution.
Right.
I don't want to be bothered with this. And the other one says, no, this is our child. I am not abandoning my child. But for
And then
me, it's
also
just a strain.
yeah. And then also the egos get in the way of the
Yeah.
parent of them taking it personal, embarrassed, or all of those kind of feelings because they're in the situation they're in. And then they're like, you're talking about egos. My son is a football player, not a person who can't speak, or, those kind of things. And so there's just so much that gets in the way of having a normal family community, whatever normal is anymore, but you get what I mean. It's like the communication is hard, but let alone bringing in this. I mean, special needs hit our family and we didn't anticipate it. I don't think anybody does. And when we don't know how, it makes it difficult. So what are some of the things that people can learn? If somebody was taking notes, what are some tools that they could use to bring more harmony to their family?
Well, the first is to accept that your child isn't going to be like everyone else's. It's natural as young mothers get together and they compare notes. Well, is your child sitting up yet? Mine started to
Mhm.
crawl. It's natural to do that. And first of all, you mentioned we tend to blame ourselves. What did I do wrong
Yeah.
to have this child? Is this some indiscretion I committed it when I was a teenager? How,
All kinds of
to
things.
just, yeah, to just let that go. It is what it is. And to have that deep love for your child, hopefully you've had the opportunity to bond with this child. And this is a challenge in some cases when a child is on the autism spectrum,
Mhm.
they don't maintain that eye contact, that bonding. So understanding what the issue is. So forgiving yourself, knowing it's not your fault, and then find out, learn as much as you can. Learn from other parents who have a child with the same needs. Learn the research, study the research. What has been proven to be effective? And the more you understand your child's disability, and this is challenging with autism because if you know one person with autism, you know one person with autism. It's
Mhm.
very individual, very unique.
Mhm.
And the key, and this is true for any parent, get to know your child,
Right.
watch them closely, learn from them, see what agitates them, what calms them down, and learn about their needs and how you can help them, how you can help them learn to interact more.
Mhm.
Now, the grandparents, you mentioned you're
Mhm.
a grandmother, they play a huge role. We also have a granddaughter who has been diagnosed with autism. And as I'm talking to my son, I'm understanding that they don't get time to spend with each other. That marriage relationship, that it puts a strain on that marriage relationship when you have a child with special needs. So I knew immediately, we will babysit for you once a week. So you and your wife can just have some time for just the two of you.
Mhm.
Just nurture your relationship. Keep that marriage strong and healthy. And grandparents can support that way.
Yeah.
And some respite care. It's, you love your child with special needs, and some of them are medically fragile. I know many parents feel like I can't leave my children with the babysitter because they would have to be specially trained
Right.
in how to care for my child. Find support groups. In just about every locality, you will find other parents who have a child with a similar disability. Sometimes you can maybe trade off some respite care, just some time to take a break. You've got to take care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. So
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you are doing your self-care, just nurturing your soul, whatever. And it doesn't have to take long, but just taking care of yourself so you have something to give,
Mm-hmm.
and then get that support.
Right.
You feel so isolated, especially if no one in your immediate circle, they're all
Right.
looking at you like, why does your child do that?
Right.
Why isn't he talking by now?
Right.
And so connecting with those who know
Yeah.
and who can relate, and share your triumphs and share each other's burden.
Yeah. So
This
how
is huge.
when people work with you as a family relationship coach, how does that work and how does that look?
Well, I my special ed background, I like to know benchmarks. Where are we now? Where do we want to be at the end of this year? How are we going to get there? So
Mm-hmm.
I like to start with an assessment. And
Mm-hmm.
I consider that there are actually 6 areas of health for any family. And they are emotional, financial, mental, physical, social, and spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these 6 areas overlap, but all 6 areas need to be addressed to
Mm-hmm.
have a healthy, well functioning family unit. And of course, those relationships are what we're talking about.
Awesome.
And so we begin by finding out, where are we in each of those 6 areas? Where are we doing well? Where do we
Mm-hmm.
need more support?
Wonderful.
And then I ask them, let's set some goals. Where do you want to be in a year? Let's just look long term. What would be the ideal situation? What do you want your relationships to be like? What do
Mm-hmm.
you want your where do you want to be in these 6 areas of health? And then it's like a GPS. Okay, we know the starting point.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know the destination. Now let's map out the route. How are
Mm-hmm.
we going to get there? What
Yes.
steps do we need to take? What tools do we need to have? What
Yeah.
support do we need? And we map it out like that.
That's beautiful. And because so many times you feel so lost, it's like, all right, I know where I want to be. I know where I am, but I don't have any clue where all the stuff is in the middle. And having you as a resource there to help them because of all of your years of experience, knowing where to find um, the stepping stones, where to find the rest stops, where to find all of those, the get gas places, that kind of thing. If you're taking a trip to be able to get to that destination. So we have worked together for a while, and me as your coach and helping you. How has that been for you?
Oh, I've loved it. I have gained that clarity. And that's near and dear to my heart, as you can tell.
Mm-hmm.
That blueprint for looking at, and it's similar, looking at the various areas of my life, what I want, and what are the habits I need to develop
Yeah,
to get there. It's been very helpful.
beautiful. And you would recommend someone else doing the same?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
I would recommend your program.
I, what you do is so vital, and the need, as you said, is growing. And unfortunately, perhaps, that the autism is so much more prevalent than when you and I were children. And so having these resources of what you are doing to me is so needed and vital. It's one of the reasons why I'm sharing you today on this live broadcast. How can people get in touch with you if they would like to talk to you and to see if you're a good fit for their family?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram under my name, Emmalou Penrod. On Instagram, I think I'm Emmalou Family Coach. And
Okay.
my website is healingyourfamilies.com.
Okay.
And I
Healing
also have a
families.
YouTube channel that's my name, Emmalou Penrod.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, please reach out to her and share this with someone else. I know everyone listening to this knows at least one person that needs to hear this who has this type of, and if Emmalou isn't the right one, she knows other coaches, perhaps, or other resources that's available because her heart is to strengthen families. That's why we connected, is she's a heart person too. And so I want to thank you, Emmalou, for what you're doing. Keep shining, get bolder, and do all that God created you to do. And thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Donna.